What's up guys, I'm BRAVExHERO and today I've got a longer format video for you. I decided to bring another content creator on chat and ask him a couple questions about PvP, why he should be improving, what brings him to PvP, and overall why he continues to play PvP after sinking in so many hours into this game. Now, this is a longer segment type of video, so you don't have to watch it all at once, but if you're doing homework or maybe driving to work, this is a great video to play playing in the background. All I ask is that if you're new to the channel, do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed today's video and you want to see other content creators jump onto the channel, then let me know down in the comment section which content creator you would like me to interview. Lastly, if you enjoyed the chat with Gjerda, do me a favor and head over to his channel. He's got some amazing videos and you'll enjoy them. I'm sure of it. So, yeah. Gjerda, let me ask you, man, like, how did you find Destiny? Like, what did you like about it?
That's a good question. So I think like in 2015, like shortly after The Taken King came out, my high school friends and I were getting into Destiny because we liked Halo a lot. And so they got me hooked onto Destiny 1 and they were like, hey, like, you should come raid with us. You should come, do some nightfalls with us and stuff like that. And I just got into it from there. I think mainly the first thing that got me interested was just playing like raids with these old friends who I had kind of maybe drifted apart from a little bit. And then we like started playing raids together again and we reconnected, and it was kind of wholesome, to be honest. And it was a good time. We just went through raids together and played all this Destiny content. And
so you didn't instantly get captured by PvP, right? Like that,
no.
Like PvP was the furthest thing from your mind.
Yeah. At first, I think I was really mostly interested in the PvE, like going through like the story missions and strikes and raids together, and just like having like people tell me what to do, honestly, which is kind of funny because like these days, like when I think about what draws me to Destiny, it's the PvP entirely. Like it's like, I like playing GMs and like Grandmaster Nightfalls, or I like playing raids and stuff like that. But the reason I like playing those things is because it makes me more equipped to be better in PvP. And then but like I wouldn't play PvE if it like didn't get me better stuff for PvP, which is kind of funny.
Exactly. You play PvE to get the gear to go into PvP. You play PvE to get that God roll X weapon because you want to take that into PvP. You want to, one, show it off, and two, you grind it for a specific perk because you know how it'll perform out in the Crucible environment, right?
Yeah, precisely.
Exactly. And a lot of people think that like, oh, you guys are YouTubers, you guys make YouTube content. Well, no wonder you guys have to play PvP. And it's like, that's not the case for me. And I know the same thing with you. Like, I'm working on this video currently, and like this last word video, but there's times I get carried away and I play too many matches and I'm like, man, I should have been recording. I just got carried away having fun. You know what I mean? I'm sure you're the same way. Like sometimes you just want to play PvP to play.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll like be playing with like a slug shotgun or something. And then like, half an hour later, I'll be like, oh wait, I was supposed to get footage for like, time lost found footage, or like some spread shotgun or some ability or something like that. And it's just, it's easy to get distracted with all the different things that are in the Destiny sandbox, like last word or slug shotguns or auto rifles. Honestly, auto rifles, dude, auto rifles are so fun these days. Like I recently switched from controller to mouse and keyboard, like in the beginning. Yeah, I know, right? Thank you. In the beginning of the pandemic. And I didn't realize that like how fun it was to like use your mouse to like track targets. Like that's something you don't really get on controller. The joy of like, hitting somebody with a snipe on controller is a different kind of feeling than hitting somebody with a really good tracking aim on mouse and keyboard. And so that's something that's been new to me. But like when you try out those new things, like your Summoner or your Soros Verse
RTKs.
Yeah, exactly. On your mouse and keyboard, like it's fun to be like, oh man, I just, I tracked that guy on my mouse and keyboard. Like I feel like I'm good at the game now.
Well, on that,
kind of fun.
On that topic, since like you're a brand new M&K player, like what do you recommend anybody jumping into it? You know, like if this is my first time touching a mouse and keyboard, like what do I aim for? Do I aim for higher sensitivity, higher DPI, or do I dial back and I run like a 400 DPI and I slowly improve from there? Because me personally, right now, I run a 400 DPI, but I run a 10 sensitivity in game with an 0.8 modifier for ADS. You know what I mean? So mine's pretty slow. I just have a huge desk, you know?
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I'm on 800 DPI and I think like 4 cents or so.
So essentially, if you do like the balancing of it, we're about similar. You know what I mean? Like on sensitivity and DPI, like it's just, you know.
Yeah, the effective DPI or whatever. Yeah.
Like with me, the only thing I tell people, if you're making a transition over into mouse and keyboard, play a lot of PvE. Because you're gonna get frustrated in PvP because you wish you could do things like I could have done that on controller. I could have done that if I did this. I could have done that. No, just play a lot of PvE until you get comfortable with. At least that's what helped me. I did so many strikes and I hate PvE, and I did a lot of strikes.
I could not agree more. Honestly, like it's gonna be, if you just jump into PvP on mouse and keyboard, it's gonna be pretty painful because you're like, I could have beamed that dude like on controller, but if you just jump into a strike where it doesn't matter at all, or a raid or something like that, it's just fun to be like, you can aim wherever you want with you have mouse and keyboard. It feels great. I think that's the best way to do it, is just do some PvE on mouse and keyboard, and that's how you can switch from controller to mouse and keyboard, and you'll be better off long term for it, for sure.
I think so. So like after watching your Blink video, which is an awesome video, if you haven't seen it, guys, it's going to be linked down below. It's an amazing video. You mentioned that.
Thanks.
You mentioned your love for the competitive aspect of Destiny, and a lot of players will say, "What competitive aspect of Destiny?" Right? Like people will come out saying, "Well, there's nothing competitive about Destiny," but I beg to differ on that. I feel like there's a lot of competitive stuff about Destiny. You know, it's more than just oh, he beat me with something cheesy. Sometimes you have to outthink the cheese. Sometimes there's plenty of times where this is the reason why my Dire Promise has 7,000 kills on it. And my none of my shotguns or sniper rifles have anything close to that. Not because I'm aping with these other weapons. No, it's because I know how consistent my aim is. You know what I mean? So with you mentioned your love of competitive aspect of Destiny. Like, what's competitive about it? What do you find competitive about Destiny?
Okay, so you can, like, anybody can easily trash Destiny for like with no effort. They can trash Destiny for how low tick rate its servers are, or how the aim assist is extremely high. Like, that's easy. Anyone can do that. But what's competitive about Destiny is outsmarting your opponent. Like, that's what's unique about Destiny, is you don't just have to outsmart somebody's like aim in Destiny, or outsmart somebody's like reaction time in Destiny. You have to think about like what they're using and like inspect them before the match and think like, okay, this player is clearly very comfortable on their like Dead Man's Tale build or whatever. Like, they're really comfortable at range. So if I push them, maybe they'll be less comfortable, and I might make them uncomfortable if I get really up close with them with a slug shotgun or something like that. And I think that's part of the fun of Destiny, is trying to think about like, there are a lot of ways to be good at the game, and there are a lot of ways to like win at the game. So if you can figure out like what somebody is good at and what somebody is not good at, I think that's the most fun at it. That's the most fun of it.
I like to tell people that it's a game of chess. Every time I load into a trials match, every time I load into a competitive match, and I see my enemies, I see what they're using, I start moving pieces around. Like, what am I going to use? Okay, well, they're using like Lord of Wolves. I'm going to keep a little bit of distance, maybe put a pulse rifle on, throw the Peace of Mind on, and just, beat him from range. It's a game of chess in that, like in trials, the movement in trials is so slow that it's like moving your pawn to a certain location. And if you can capitalize on that, it sets you up for something bigger. That's why, like, people know me, like if you've ever stopped by stream, people have always said that I'm like BRAVExHERO. I love the flank, but there's times that if I'm flanking my
BRAVExHERO, that's
BRAVExHERO, man, yeah. Like if I'm flanking, then I know that I'm drawing the attention of my enemies, or my teammates are drawing the attention of my enemies. At any time, their attention has been drawn, and one of us are going to capitalize on that opportunity. And that's what I like. It's like outplaying your opponent. Some people don't realize it. Like, oh, he's flanking us again. They all hyper focus on me, and now my two teammates can just melt him, or vice versa. They hyper focus on my teammates, and I'm just there putting shots on them from the side and easy cleanups. And that's my competitive aspect about Destiny, outsmarting my enemies. I don't care if they're using the Renewal Grasp, Lord of Wolves, DMT, Lawrence Driver, the Lorley, none of that, because at the end of the day, you should still be able to win. One, even if you have to put on something cheesy, it's there for you. No one's saying you can't use it. This whole mindset of I have to have honor, I have to use a
Oh my God,
hand
right?
cannon.
That whole like that honor thing. Oh my God.
It's like I have to have honor. I have to have a hand cannon and a shotgun or sniper. It's like, no, man. 2 weeks ago, I ran a fusion rifle and I got 600 kills in trials. Like, why? Because hey, if they're gonna do it to me, I'm gonna use it on people too.
Exactly. That's that weird thing. And like I gotta admit though, like I succumb to that as well, 100%. Like I will get in that that mindset of like, this is not honorable to use DMT and stasis and the stag or whatever. Like that's sort of my go-to. Like if I want to farm like an adept trials weapon, I'll just put on like the stag, I'll put on my DMT, I'll put on my stag and stasis. I already said stag, but like I'll just put on like my cheesiest build if I want to farm a trials weapon. But
yeah,
like and people will feel like, okay, that's not like fair, that's not honorable, or that doesn't make like a good like YouTube video or something like that. But I'm like, you know what? If I want to get like my loot, then I'm going to do whatever it takes. And like the same things are available to me as they are to my opponents. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to just shoot myself in the foot for some sort of strange, like self-sufficient, like honorable dream just to like, yeah, you get what I'm saying. But
no, yeah. And the thing is, like with me, like personally, I think it's much harder to use an auto rifle and go flawless with that than it is with a hand cannon. You know what I mean? To me,
100%.
Oh yeah. Auto rifles are, in my opinion, are lower tier in lethality compared to hand cannons. And if someone's melting me with an auto rifle, they're a good player. I'm like, okay, wow. I'm not gonna say, well, it's a cheesy gun, it's a bullet hose. No, I'm going, wow, that's awesome. You know what I mean? The dude just melted me. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
there's the honor factor that's out the window when it comes to something like I want to get to 5,500 points. I want to get to flawless. If you're not doing everything you possibly can to get there, using the best weapons, using the best loadouts, using the best gear, if the Lordly's broken and you don't want to use it, then use something else that's going to give you put you on the same playing field. Because if you go, oh, I can't use that because of my honor and blah, 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 you're just asking to lose. You're asking to go 5 games deep, and on the 6th team that's just farming stuff and you're using 3 Renewal Grasp, you're asking to get beat.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, like you
and
you
wasting
have the
your
same
time.
exotics.
You're wasting
the
your
same
time.
Weapons.
Yeah. Like if you're not gonna, this is the thing, and this is something that I tell, like everyone asks, why improve? Well, no one has fun when they lose. Nobody. I don't care who you are. Everyone's like, well, just gonna have no. You don't load into PvP and say, man, today I hope I go 1 in 16. I hope I get 1 kill and die 16 times. No one loads into PvP like that. Why improve? Because the better you get at this game, the more fun you'll have. Oh man, I 3-tapped 4 people back to back to back. It was the most amazing thing ever. You had fun with that. But imagine if you were on the shoe was on the other foot and you're like, what happened? Man, I got 3-tapped over and over and over. Well, how can you improve on that? Well, my positioning was bad. Maybe I need to work on that. You know what? I challenged when I was weak. That's the reason to improve. No one has fun when they lose. I don't care who you are. You can be the most humble person in the world, but when you lose, it's a crappy feeling. And that's my reason why to improve. Because when you improve, you enjoy the game a little more.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you can even get to that point of like where you're good enough at the game that like you're gonna lose every 4 matches or something. You're gonna go up against somebody who's better than you, but maybe you were performing so good in that match that you're comfortable with the fact that you lost. Like you put your best out on the field and you still lost, and you might still feel good about that. But the other 3 games, you won because you're just better. And I think that's the reason that you would try to be better at PvP, or you would, that's the whole point.
Let me ask you, how do you keep improving? I'm sure you didn't start off being like this great player. How did your journey start? Like when you stepped into PvP, you weren't like, oh, I'm just God tier player. You know what I mean? Like how did it start?
No, I was awful. I was awful like everyone else. I went into PvP, and so I started out on PS4 Pro, and well, even before that, PS4, and just like using like a terrible old controller. I used last word and snipers and with high aim assist, and like I got some good mileage out of that, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm using what was available to me to be good and to win matches. Like my first time like getting the 5500 rank and get in, like my first time using the Luna's Howl and the Dustrock Blues in the competitive playlist, like I just used what was like the meta option, and I got the 5500 rank in the competitive playlist. And that was like how you do it. But like when I wanted to like suddenly be better at the game and I switched to mouse and keyboard, like it was painful. Like it's not like enjoyable at first, but it's worth it long term to like put yourself in those uncomfortable positions and then eventually improve over time, like subjugating yourself to like using something that is like clearly good,
It,
but just might not be
you
like,
essentially challenge yourself by switching over to mouse and keyboard. One, you're not saying that it's superior or and controller's not. You decided to challenge yourself and improve. You can always go back to a controller and play, but when you decided to switch over to mouse and keyboard, it was a challenge for yourself. And with me, I found myself. I found that challenging myself in Destiny was fun. Currently I'm working on this last word video, and if you ask anybody, I even took a poll, and people were saying last word is bad on mouse and keyboard. And I'm close to 1,000 kills already on my last word, and I've used it for 1 week.
nice.
You know what I mean? So I challenged myself.
I'm so
with that.
excited to see that video. I gotta say, like, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah,
That's gonna be
in
great.
my opinion, legit, I ran 3v3 with my friends yesterday. I used the last word. Sure, I wasn't at the top of the leaderboard, but I was second place. I was coming up. I was literally coming up the ranks on that leaderboard. I'm like, you know what? Like, I even told him, give me a few more months. Give me a month using this gun, and I'm going to be broken. Like, I'm gonna be busted with this gun. And that's
Hell
that,
yes,
that's
dude.
mastery. That's the challenge I give myself. Like, after I do that with the last word, I want to do that with the fighting line. I want to master the fighting line.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
my
I
that,
would love to see that. As okay, so like I think part of the reason that like I have seen success on YouTube is because of the Fighting Lion community. Like they know that I love Fighting Lion, and like they gave me some really important views when I was a pretty small YouTuber, and the Fighting Lion community was like, "Hey, you're using Fighting Lion, you're on controller, you're clearly like struggling, but you're also doing okay. Like we're gonna come watch your videos." And it just, yeah, like Fighting Lion is rewarding. Like if you put the time in, it's super rewarding. And that's part of the fun, is like it's gonna be painful at first, just like the last word. But like after like, 100 or 200 hours or so, like it's worth it. You're gonna start like hitting some kills that like you don't deserve, or like some like really cool clips. And I think that's what's so fun about the last word and Fighting Lion and like Snipe Lion and all these cool things out there.
so why did you challenge yourself with Blink?
That is a great question. I think it was because I was kind of bored, and this was coming out of like the like post stasis era, and I was like, okay, what is happening in Destiny? What am I doing? What does PvP mean anymore? And I just wanted to pick something weird, so I picked Blink, and I guess it kind of paid off, and now it's like how I'm known, for lack of a better term.
So you
Like,
decided to throw a challenge at yourself, and Blink was it, and
yeah.
you eventually mastered it to where if I said, can you go flawless with Blink? Can you go to 5500? Of course,
Oh, for sure. I mean, I could at the time. I think now I might need a little bit more practice to get back up there. But like at the time of like me making that Blink video, like I was fully prepared to like go flawless or get to 5500 with Blink. And like that wasn't because it was easy. That was because I put the time in to like, get good at something that was hard but rewarding. And I still firmly believe that. Like, okay, this is a good time to call out my friend Covey, who is working on this amazing Blink video. And it's just like this dude has been like practicing Blink just like I did for like months on end to like find out all these like weird nuances about how Blink works and stuff. And I think that's what's so cool about Destiny, is you can find all these interesting things that are on the surface seem really bad and really like not effective. But after you put in the time, you realize that like, okay, this was worth it because like Blink is like technically faster than like Top Tree Dawnblade. Like literally, like if you do like speed tests to get to like one spawn in trials to like the middle of the map, if you're using Blink on like various maps, like Blink is going to be faster than Top Dawn, or like Blink is going to allow you to outplay like quite a bit of super in the game because you can just like blink above them and then like use your weapons on them and stuff like that. Like it has so much potential for being good, and it's just
it took someone to go in there and discover it. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. It took somebody like it took people to make Blink good. It took people to go in there and be like, hey, this is gonna like freaking hurt for a while, and it's not gonna be fun because I'm gonna like bottom frag for quite a while. But if you go in there and you're okay with that for a while, then you're gonna get that reward of like, you know, a couple weeks later, you know how to do the weird effective thing. And that's what's so cool about Destiny is there are so many options to be, you know, effective in the game.
Oh yeah, before the Void 3.0 update, you know, people thought I was some weird hipster because I would run Middle Tree Arc Strider, and I said,
yeah,
and I said, dude, the uppercut is amazing. They're like, really? It doesn't.
Oh, it's so good.
It's such a good tactic. And I said, it's not only that. I'm like, Raiju's harness, insta swap to it. My friends had to tell me to stop doing that in 3v3s because I would get my super, throw on Raiju's harness, secure 2 kills, drop 2 orbs, cut my super almost halfway, and then get it again. They're like, dude, you need to stop doing that. That's not fair. And I'm like, what do you mean it's not fair, bro? I'm like, if it was broken, Bungie would have nerfed it by now. So let me ask you,
exactly.
With over 4,000 to 5,000 hours of PvP between D1 and D2, but with very little PvP updates, such as maps and game modes, what brings you back to the Crucible? Why do you log in every day when you can to play? Like, why do you fire up Crucible? Why is it when you log into Destiny, you grab the character you want to go to PvP with, you click that game mode and you fire it up and you go? What's bringing you there?
It's literally just because of the potential of getting like a cool clip or something. Like if I pick like Hunter or Titan or Warlock, no matter what, I'm picking that character because I'm like, hey, you know what? Maybe Top Tree Arc Hunter gets me that like weird, like, you know, 4 combo melee clip today or something like that. Like just the idea of like getting some sort of weird and cool thing to happen in Destiny that feels like fun and rare and exciting and powerful. That's why I keep coming back to it. So, I mean, I guess in that Top Tree Hunter example, like I think back to that like Cammy Cakes clip, like from like, I don't know, it must be like over 4 years ago by now, but like he like dodged out of a Nova bomb, like to get his,
He posted
like,
it. I remember.
yeah, he like dodged out of a Nova bomb. He got his enhanced melee reach, and then and this was like year 1, so like you have like double primary, and then he used like some like double primary loadout to like damage people and like just chain together these like arc melee kills and get like this like quad amazing clip and stuff like that. Just like, and then he like takes his headphones off after, you know, like it looks freaking cool. But stuff like that is what keeps me coming back to Destiny, is because there are just so many ways to get these weird, fun clips to happen. And that's really compelling to me, is to think like, how can I find a new way to get something cool to happen in Destiny that feels like worthwhile and skillful and exciting? And I think what would not be exciting to me, like what would feel like kind of boring to me, is using something kind of cheesy like renewal grasps or something. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, because like if you want to win, like you should use what allows you to win. But if you want to get like a cool clip for YouTube, which is honestly kind of what I'm in it for now, like then I kind of want to use something weird like Top Tree Arc Hunter and like get some sort of weird like, you know, quad kill thing. Yeah, exactly. Like Liar's handshake clip. That'd be so fun and weird and cool.
Like I had a buddy of mine who told me that my goal is to get 250 kills on X gun. He would log in one night and he's like, I don't have to worry about work tomorrow. I'm playing the night, 250 kills. And that was his goal. And every time he would log in, he would grab a different gun, 150 kills on this gun, or this, or this, or this. And I always thought that was awesome. I was like, man, he can go in there. It doesn't matter. It could be whatever gun, he's going to use it. And that's why when I saw my Dire Promise close to 7,000, I said, I want to continue to use the last word, but I'm putting the last word down because I'm going to grab the Dire Promise. I'm getting that to 7,000 kills. That's the milestone I want to reach. And that's what pulls me to Destiny. Not only that, the aspects of like making fun builds, making things that work, using something like when I used the last word last week, I saw people switch to the last word. People who were on controller switch to the last word only to get destroyed by me in trials. I got a message from somebody saying, "You're just a Grenader Jake ripoff," and I'm like,
oh my God.
And I'm thinking to myself, going, "Dude, I'm on mouse and keyboard. Like, dude, this is a huge compliment. Like, I had a huge smile on my face. I'm on mouse and keyboard."
Man, hate mail is some of the greatest compliments sometimes. That's awesome.
So let me ask you, what's your favorite loadout?
Oh man, right now, honestly, it has to involve duality and then maybe like an auto rifle, to be honest. Like coming from controller to mouse and keyboard, I think there's such a joy to being able to do that tracking aim on mouse and keyboard because it's just hard on it. Like that's part of the fun of it. Like on controller, like I think there's great skill on controller to being able to like ride that aim assist and like to know like when you're locked onto something and how you have to guide your right stick onto like tracking the target. Like there's some skill to that. Like there's a reason like I go to bed almost every other night and like I'm watching like scrim gameplay on YouTube of like, you know, Sergio Seario like using his controller or whatever to like get some amazing snipes. Like there's some great skill to that. But I think on mouse and keyboard, there is this really fun and rewarding feeling to being like, hey, like I tracked that dot on the screen, the opponent's head, very accurately, and it gave me a bunch of headshots, and that awarded me a kill. And that's just like super fun. Like I felt that with like Suro's Verse. I felt that with, you know, the Summoner, a bunch of different auto rifles, and I think those are some of my favorite loadouts, like a slug shotgun in the kinetic slot like Heritage, and then like some sort of like 600 RPM auto rifle in the energy slot. Like I think those are some of the most rewarding loadouts on mouse and keyboard, and the loadouts that I've just like had fun with and felt like, you know what, this is rewarding and fun and just a good old time, you know?
Same question though. What's your sweaty loadout? If it's 4v4, I mean, if it's final round in trials, you know, if we're last game to 5,500 points, and I'm like, bro, I need you to step it up. I need you to slay out. What do you grab?
Then I grab the duality and I grab a 120 hand cannon. I still think 120s are like some of the best choices out there. I grab the True Prophecy on like a top tree arc warlock build, you know, with the chain grenades, and I grab the duality. So then I just get that like elemental capacitor high handling on the True Prophecy, the opening shot, and I just, you know, I peek, you know, once in a while and get that like 80 damage hand cannon shot, and
120s are great for team shots. 120s. My Igneous Hammer with 2,000 kills with elemental capacitor max range. 120s are one of the most slept on hand cannons in the games. I think the amount of damage you can deal up close and even far away too is a great team shot weapon in any team shot like game mode.
Yeah. Like I think some people think like 120s got like, you know, they're worthless to use, or like there's this kind of like fallacy in the Bungie. There's this kind of like fallacy in the Destiny community rather, where like something gets a nerf and then you're like, okay, it's not usable if it gets one nerf. And it's like, no, like maybe that nerf was tiny, but it doesn't mean it's like bad. And that's 120 hand cannons. They're still absolutely incredible. It's a 2 crit 1 body. It's really good. And so they're still perfectly viable.
So with so much PvP under your belt, you log in every day, you're playing, you know, you want to get footage, you're using X gun, it may not be the best. How do you deal with the cheese? Everybody deals with the cheese. Everybody hates the cheese. Everyone hates dying to Lord of Wolves, dying to Lawrence Driver, DMT, or dying to the Loreley. How do you deal with it?
Like, how do you Oh, the cheese, like
How do you deal with it? It
the
doesn't. It
stuff that
doesn't
feels
throw. It doesn't
unfair.
push you over the edge.
Honestly, I would say it's music. Like having like Spotify on in the background. Like if you're just putting on like, you know, I honestly I put on like, jazz or something that's just like really relaxing to me, like non-verbal like jazz music with like some saxophone and some piano or something like that, and that just keeps me feeling really chill, and it allows me to sort of disconnect from this idea that people killing me in PvP with something else that feels like cheesy. It allows me to realize that like that's just like them doing whatever they can to win, and like why would they not do that? Why would they not try to win? Why would they not do whatever they can to kill me to win? They're not going to do that like honorable thing. They're not going to use like a 140 RPM hand cannon and like a spread shotgun.
They're,
People don't give a shit about that.
he's like, they're not gonna slap you with the glove. Sir, I challenge you to a duel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like so many people think that they die to like DMT and they're like, why didn't he like challenge me with a 140 RPM hand cannon and like a spread shotgun? It's like, cause he could win easier if he did DMT. So why would he not?
With me, when it comes to quick play and I see the cheese, I kind of just laugh about it and I go, and then I fire up another game and I move on, right?
Yeah,
when it comes to
exactly.
trials,
Life is too short.
Exactly. When it comes to trials, though, I go, what can I counter that with, and how can I beat that? Oh, he's standing behind his wall because he wants to get the Loreley buff. It's fine. I'll throw Vortex on you. It's perfectly fine with me. I'll run my Warlock and throw solar grenades on you.
For
like
real.
That's what I like about outsmarting your opponents. The chess game.
Exactly. And that's what makes Destiny so signature. Like you wouldn't be playing Destiny if that wasn't a part of the game, Like that's what keeps people coming back.
So if you had to choose between new maps and new game modes, which would you choose?
Okay, so it is a tough one, but I had to think about this for a couple days in advance. And I think, honestly, I would choose new maps. And that's because I think the inherent game modes that we have like available to us, like let's say you go create a private match, like there are a lot of good game modes available to you when you create that private match. Like they're out there, but I would choose new maps because I think the game modes are inherently fun. Like survival, I think is great. Control, pretty much fine. I think it would be really fun to see Countdown come back and be a more prevalent game mode. I think Countdown would be awesome. Elimination is so-so, but there are a lot of different game modes out there that you could select from in the private match selector today. And really the thing that I think maybe keeps people feeling that like PvP is a little bit stale is just the fact that there aren't that many maps. Like if you added a bunch of maps and like just tossed in all these like cool game modes, it could be a good time. So I think I'd choose maps.
I think I'd do the same because I can just play PvP and I just want new maps, something different.
Yeah, like
the change
PvP
up,
is
like,
good these days.
No, yeah, of course. So if you could give any advice to a new player, I'm looking to improve. I'm stepping into PvP, or maybe I've been playing PvP for a while, but I just can't get it. I can't use X gun, or maybe I'm not landing my shots, or just anything. What advice could you give me? The best advice.
That's a good question. If you're new to PvP, I think you need to try a bunch of different weapons. I think if you just like stick to like a spread shotgun and a 140 RPM hand cannon, like you're just kind of bottlenecking your performance, your improvement. And I think if you were to try like a wide range of things and you were to be okay with losing, I think you would have a good time, and you would also end up improving a lot as a player because you would realize, okay, these are the strengths of a 120 RPM hand cannon versus these are the strengths of like a 600 RPM auto rifle, or these are the strengths of a high impact pulse rifle versus the strengths of a scout rifle or something. And I think if you just like throw yourself into the deep end of the pool and like are like, you know what, I'm gonna lose about 10 or 20 matches in a row here, and I'm cool with that because I'm about to like get experience in all these random things, I think you would go pretty far from that. So I guess that would be my advice. Like, don't be scared to fail. Jump into the deep end of the pool, use weird stuff, and just like do your best and like put on some of your favorite music and like disconnect this idea from your mind of like that, like when you lose, this is like a personal affront to you, or like when somebody kills you, this is some sort of like, you know, personal attack on you. Like it doesn't matter. It's a video game. Like just go out there and lose and have a good time, and you're going to get better in no time if you do that.
I say the same thing when people like get mad when they get teabagged. I'm like, it's whatever, bro. Just move on.
I know, right? Yeah,
Like
it's a person pressing the crouch button in a video game.
It's
like
not
let
only
it go.
that, they do it. People teabag in game because they want to get under your skin, and when they know
Exactly.
you lose focus, especially in trials. If you lose the first round in a card or in comp, you lose the first game, and they're teabagging you already. They want you to get mad. They want you to get frustrated. They want you to be so aggressive and that have that bull just saw the red carpet, the red flag, and they're gonna chase you down. They want you to start being so aggressive you start making mistakes. And that's
Exactly. That every time, yeah. Oh my God. I feel like, God, I want to send this portion of this video to like every trials team I have ever in the future of like, they're begging you because they want you to screw up. Like, I wish people would just understand that. Like, they're not begging you because they think like, you know, you're bad at the game or something, or maybe they are, but who fucking cares? Like, it's like they're begging you because they want you to screw up. Like, it's so obvious.
It's in game. It's like the day like someone starts bagging me in game and I get a knock on my door and someone showed up going, "Hey man, someone delivered some bags for you." You know what I mean? That I'd be freaked out. But until then, it's like, dude, it's in game. It's whatever, bro. Next round we'll beat them. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. They literally, like, people will go out there and do whatever they can to tilt you. That is a really good strategy to winning. Like going out there and doing whatever it can that they think will like throw you off your game and get you angry and get you like thinking irrationally. People are going to do that because once again, like people want to win matches. So they're going to do whatever they can to win matches. And if that involves, you know, getting you tilted, they're going to do that. So it's literally like up to you if you're going to let that happen or not. Like I'm going to get tilted 100%. Like if somebody like, you know, does a bunch of cheesy stuff and like bags me and stuff, but then like, you know, 10 or 15 seconds after I got tilted, I'm going to be like, oh, wait, they're doing that because they want me to get unfocused. You know, if I want to win the match, I can like, you know, rewind here and be like, okay, I need to like take a different approach.
I agree. And to me, I think it's funny when they start teabagging. And again, it's like all those YouTube videos you see, they teabag too early. And I always laugh because when they teabag me and the fourth game, I rarely teabag, but in the fourth game, I beat them. Oh, I'm dropping bags because I'm sending them to orbit upset. I'm sending them to orbit the same way they wanted to tilt me the first round or second round. I'm sending them back to orbit like that.
Absolutely. Like there's no doubt like teabagging is like kind of weird and gross and comes from some strange places, but like if somebody's doing that to you, like they're clearly trying to tilt you. They want you to like get off your game. So if you just like the first time you see that bag, if you're just like, oh shit, they're scared they're gonna lose, that'll like change your whole mentality around the game, because that's literally what they're doing. They're scared they're gonna lose. They want you to tilt. So if you just like rise above that, you have a much greater chance at winning.
Of course. Gjerda, this has been fun. How can people find you?
Yeah, dude. They can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/Gjerda, Gjerda. I don't stream on Twitch at this time, but I don't know. Maybe I will in the future. I just like this YouTube game for now.
Twitter, Instagram?
Yeah, Twitter is /TheGjerda, and Instagram is, I think, also /TheGjerda.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it so much, bro. It's been a great conversation.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.